Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. I feel like this has been years in the making.
It really has.
So excited to talk to you. We just did some TikToks too, and I feel like we are like the beauty counterparts,
We
kind
really
of.
are.
Yeah.
You're my spirit animal,
Yes,
Ariel.
same. So why don't you just start by telling everybody how you got into beauty?
Yeah, so I am incredibly passionate about it just because I'm so obsessed with self-care. Mainly because I've had so many struggles with my skin, from acne, perioral dermatitis, hair thinning, hair loss, and I, went to experts to try to figure it out. And as I was doing that, I documented my journey online and just thinking it was going to be a hobby. And slowly people started to follow along my journey. And it's been a great ride.
Seems like you try anything and everything.
Anything and everything.
I love it. I always say, like, I'm a tritarian. Like, I'll try anything, especially when it comes to beauty. But how do you kind of balance, like, this, obsession with beauty and self-care with not letting it get, like, too obsessive, if that makes sense?
Yeah. I think that everyone needs to have that one person in their life who will be the pressure test on different things that I want to try. And they'll say, I don't think that's a good idea. Do you really want to do that for me? That's my husband. I'll go to him and be like, I'm thinking about doing this. And he's like, that's a no, or I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And so it could be, someone's mom, your best friend, partner, whoever, but someone who can just be a little grounding. That's what helps me.
I think it's also helpful, if you're doing like kind of less invasive things, to have somebody or a few people that you really trust. Because I know for me, the people who have done, like, for example, my injectables over the years, which I don't really do anymore, but even when I've had little tweaks, like, they will be super honest with me and be like, yes, you can do this. No, we're not doing that. Because ultimately, I think where so many people get in trouble is they go to some practitioner with their bright idea and they just meet somebody who says yes to anything. And, you see people who end up looking so, like, distorted, and that burden, I think, lies on the practitioner, not so much the person who's going.
Yes. For sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's good. Does your husband support mostly everything that you do?
Mostly everything. I mean, after we had our first daughter, I ate my placenta. I would have done it with my second, but it was during COVID.
Oh.
So we weren't able to bring it home. Back in 2016, I first learned about colostrum, which is really trending right now.
Yeah.
So I found this farm in Pennsylvania that was selling gallon jugs of cow's colostrum, and I had it air freight overnighted.
Wow.
Like 4-gallon jugs. I just wanted to see, would this help improve my skin? Would it help improve how I felt? And so every morning I had a glass of this cow's colostrum. Imagine this really dark yellow color and the consistency of a mango lassi. And it was like melted butter mixed with whole milk.
This is like before Armra when they're flavoring it, right?
Yes.
Wow. What did you feel from that? Did it help you?
So I didn't notice much with my skin, but I lost a ton of weight in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I believe it was because of the high fat content. It's like waking up and eating the equivalent of a stick of butter.
Yeah.
And so I was full until 4 or 5 p.m.
You're like, I wonder why I'm so full. I'm not hungry. It's the weirdest thing.
That was not my intent with trying it out, but similar to you, I'm up for anything.
Yeah. What are some things that he said no to?
I've been looking into facelifts. The ponytail lift.
Dr. KO?
Yes. I met him at the IMCAS last month in Paris. He was there giving a speech on fillers and how they're now finding that the filler is migrating to the muscle. It's lasting a lot longer. And, women younger are starting to look at facelifts as an alternative. So anyways, I was looking at the ponytail lift and he was like, not yet.
No? Did KO say not yet? Or your
yeah.
husband? Yeah. I'm looking at your face, and I mean, I don't think you need anything. I know how it is, though. Like, we're all our own worst critics, and we know our faces so well. And especially when you're seeing yourself on camera day in, day out, it can be hard not to, like nitpick on those things. And it's so funny because we can see it in other people and it's so hard to see in ourselves.
But I think part of it too, Ariel, is like I just had Sculptra 3 months ago. So that's what's looking really good.
Amazing. Where did you put it?
Yeah. So I had it injected into the temples, lateral cheeks, and then a little bit down here. I went to Vanessa, The Things We Do. She's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, her skill set, it's just so natural. And I feel like the biostimulators really, they create a more seamless look so that there isn't lumpiness. Like the hyaluronic acid fillers were creating. That's at least what I was seeing with my experience. Like I could notice where it was placed in the cheeks, even when they massaged it in and placed it well.
Yeah. And you can still feel it years later.
Yes.
Which, I mean, to what you were saying earlier, like there's so much coming out. And even my friends who are plastic surgeons who will go in and do facelifts, you know, they find old filler from way more than whatever they say, like 1 year. A lot of it doesn't really go away, and you know, it can migrate and, like you said, get in your muscles and everything. I will do like a tiny pop of filler maybe once a year as like a shadow. I think that that's like how it should kind of be used. I think that what so many people get wrong, and obviously I'm not a professional, but is that they use it for volume and for lifting and all of these things that it really shouldn't be used for. Like I remember, actually I can't remember what doctor it was who was saying like it really should only be used for like shadow and contour to create kind of like those contours of the face, not for like giving you cheekbones and you know, giving you a jawline and all of that.
Yes, very minimally. And you know, I feel like South Korea is 10 years ahead of us when it comes to these types of plastic surgeries and using fillers. And I remember I went to go see a plastic surgeon about having upper blepharoplasty, which I did end up having. And when I was there, I asked them about hyaluronic acid fillers, and the doctor told me he's not a fan of them. And it shocked me because at that time, hyaluronic acid fillers in the States was like really trending and becoming more popular. And they had already kind of crested and were over it.
Interesting. Yeah. We have to look to them to see what is like new. And is that where you go for a lot of your beauty things? Like, do you kind of look to that because they are so ahead as far as skincare and procedures and things like that?
When I ate my placenta in 2016, I had come back from a trip to Japan, and that's where I learned about placenta, because you can go to any 7-Eleven, and similar to how here in the States you buy those little Viva Life like ginger vitamin C shots, they have placenta shots like that.
Whoa.
Sold at every 7-Eleven, and they're from pig or cow placentas.
Oh my God.
And they're for energy and vitality. And,
I mean, even like Biologique Recherche, they have the placenta serum, right? I don't know where they get that from, but pig maybe?
Maybe. I don't, definitely not human derived.
No. Hopefully not. Let's talk about Botox.
Okay.
We both have had bad experiences. I haven't talked about mine publicly.
Now is the time and place.
We'll see if it's the time and the place. I'm still traumatized. But what was your experience?
So I had a horrific Botox nightmare experience about 10 years ago. I was newly engaged, and like most newly engaged people, they start out on a glow up plan before the wedding. And at that time, you know, the lower part of my face was very heavy. That's just kind of naturally my anatomy. And so I was researching different ways to just balance out my facial anatomy. I looked into getting buccal fat removal, which I'm glad that I didn't do at the time.
Thank God.
Yeah, it seemed very invasive. So when I heard about the alternative of Botox masseter injections from a dermatologist, I said, okay, I'm going to try it out. And he did 20 to 30 units on each side.
That's a lot.
3 times over the course of a year, so about every 4 months. And it was way too much. My muscles on the lower face completely atrophied, and it was a slow progression, but I mean, eventually after a year, it looked like my whole lower face had just melted.
Wow.
Because there was no structure. There was nothing to hold up the skin. If you think about, you know, the face like a tent, right? And the skin is the tent tarp, and the poles underneath holding that tarp up are the fat, the muscle, the bone. Imagine taking out a couple of those tent poles. What happens to that tent? It's going to sink in. And that's what happened to my face on the lower half. I didn't know what was going on at first.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was just rapidly aging. I was freaked out.
Yeah.
I would look in the mirror and I didn't even recognize myself. It was really frightening. I was so scared. And what I noticed the most when I looked in the mirror was the sagging skin. But it was not that my skin was sagging. It was just there was no structure underneath that skin to hold it up. So I started frantically looking into skin tightening treatments. I had all therapy done twice.
Oh, no.
Which I do not recommend.
Yeah.
It's so painful.
And that can actually melt the fat.
And
even
it
more.
did.
Oh, it did?
Which it did.
Oh, no.
So I have like temple veins that became visible after that because it melted so much fat in my forehead. So, but it did work to tighten the skin. But I did have a lot of fat, facial fat loss after that.
Crazy. Yeah. So I had to stop getting Botox in August because I got botulism.
Oh my
Everybody. It took 6 months for the diagnosis because nobody believed me, even though I had all the symptoms. It was crazy. But I also was getting master Botox because I have TMJ, I clench. And so mostly for me, it was like just relief from that. It wasn't so much cosmetic, but it's funny because I remember some like troll on TikTok was like, whoa, slow down with the masseter Botox or something. Cause I think all my videos, like, cause I was getting it so often, my face was like so much wider in the cheeks. And then, you know, which I like a heart shape, but I think it was like pretty extreme. And one good thing that has come out of not getting Botox is that my masseters came back and I'm like, oh my God, I can like see that I have more of like a jaw before. And exactly what you were saying, it was like all that scaffolding was like gone. And so things were just kind of falling. But I love my Botox. I just can't get it. And I think that people just need to be really careful and go into it like asking questions and knowing what they're treating, because I think that it's so common now, like going to get Botox in LA, it's like going to get a latte. You know, you just don't even think about it. But there are very real side effects, whether it's cosmetic or systemic, that can happen as a result of it. And the reason that I haven't really talked about it is because I don't want to like fearmonger and scare people. But it was nothing my injector did. It was not where I put it. It was not bad Botox or anything like that. It's just, it's something that can happen. It's just really rare. So anyway.
Is it just an immune response to it?
No. So the doctor who finally diagnosed me, he's a derm at Mount Sinai. It was crazy because I went to like one doctor after another, after another, after another. It happened the day after I got injections, and it was so debilitating. I couldn't function for months. And I was like, it's from Botox. And they're like, no, even if like it got into your system, it wouldn't cause this. And I started researching and like reading articles on PubMed about iatrogenic botulism, like botulism from cosmetic doses, and the majority of them weren't from like having over 200 units. It was from relatively low doses, and it's just like it can go into like an artery, I think, or it can migrate a little bit from where it's placed, and it's just like an unlucky thing. I don't know why. I did all the things. I wasn't laying down. I didn't get a massage. I didn't work out after, like nothing. And this doctor said like, yeah, it can just happen. It's just one of the risks of getting it. And obviously it's so studied and, you know, relatively safe. But if you do have a complication, it can be like really devastating.
Are you completely off the Botox now?
Well, everyone's going to think I'm crazy. After 3 months, the company said it sounded like pseudobotulism, and that if I was better at 3 months, then I would know that it was the Botox. But I was kind of like in denial, and I was like, there's no way, because everyone was telling me there's no way that Botox would do this. So I'm like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try. Yeah. And I did like just a few units of Dysport, and like everything kind of started again. So at that point I thought, well, maybe it's an immune thing, because if it was botulism, why would it happen again? But the doctor said, no, it's because it was still in your system. So if you're like adding more on top of it, then it's just going to like make those symptoms more prominent again, because we think that Botox lasts 3 months and that's it. But that's really based on like patient efficacy reporting. So we usually see our Botox start to wear off around 3 months or so. But he was saying that like it takes much longer to get out of your body. And my friend, who's also a doctor, was on the call, not to make this whole episode about this, but she's like, this is great news. And I was like, is it? And she goes, yeah, because you're not allergic. You can get Botox again. And he was like, yeah, I would just wait like 6 months. And I'm like, botulism, good news. I don't know. But it's hard. I mean, it's hard, like, one, being a woman, 2, being a woman in LA. 3, being somebody who's like public facing, you know, I'd gotten Botox for 10 years and now I have like crow's feet and I'm like, what's that? Like I had never seen a line on my face before because I started getting Botox in my late 20s. So it's been a process, a journey of acceptance and patience and just trying to like focus more on healing my body than anything else. But I'm like, fuck, there's gotta be something. Maybe in Korea they have some kind of alternative.
Not that I've heard of yet.
I'm on a mission.
Well, when you find it, tell me.
Yeah, I will for sure. Okay, so what are some of your beauty non-negotiables?
Well, I don't really drink alcohol anymore, but when I used to, somehow, even if I had quite a few drinks, I always woke up the next morning with a freshly cleansed 10-step routine, like overnight mask on or something.
Wow, amazing.
So it's a non-negotiable. It's muscle memory at this point. I always do a very thorough nighttime routine. And it's really my sacred time for myself. You know, I give so much of myself to content I create, to my husband, to my kids, my friends, just my life. And then when I'm at home at the end of the day, that 45 minutes, that hour is for me in my bathroom. And it's just wonderful. So I do not skip out on it.
I totally get that. And I think that people love to be snarky on the internet to begin with. But, you know, a 9-step, which is mine, or 10-step skincare routine sounds daunting. But like it really is, for me at least as well, like such a moment to just like be present, do some self-care. So I'm totally with you. I think that it's like, it's cathartic.
It's meditative.
It totally is meditative. What are some of your non-negotiable products?
I love growth factors.
Yes. Tell us about the growth factors.
Of growth factors. I think the reason why they haven't gained like mass popularity is because they're so expensive. You know, there's been this huge trend around retinol, and I think part of it is because of the accessibility, one, and two, of course, you know, the literature behind it, the scientific studies, the fact that it, you know, works so well to stimulate collagen production, but there's a lot of downsides with it. Whereas growth factors, you know, have similar like collagen stimulating, skin rejuvenating benefits to them without those downsides, because it's not doing really intense exfoliation or causing a lot of sun sensitivity or anything like that. But growth factors are expensive. Most growth factor serums start at $150. And part of that is because of the science behind them and the way that they're manufactured. You know, whether they're human, animal, or plant derived, they're grown in petri dishes in labs, which is very labor intensive. And so it really drives the cost of them. For a long time, I used Skin Medica's TNS Advanced Serum, which is great. But I recently, a year ago, discovered this other one by Allies of Skin. I like the growth factor serum better. It's a lighter texture. It's kind of a watery gel texture. And it has just given my skin like this youthful early 20s glow. Like when you look at someone in their 20s and you can't really pinpoint like why does their skin look collagen so good, it just reflects light. It's kind of full and bouncy. I feel like growth factors have really done that for my skin. And so I use them. I use this serum morning and night. I've gone through so many bottles of it.
How long does it take for you to see benefits from that?
1 bottle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Noted. I'll be buying that today. Anything else? Like, are there any ingredients that you absolutely won't use? I mean, we were talking about like retinoids. Is that something that you do incorporate or not?
Sometimes. Like right now, I've been using an eye cream that contains retinol in it, and it's been fantastic for my dark circles. The Summer Fridays one.
Oh.
I love it. It's really good. But generally, like I'm not a diehard retinol fan just because I have such sensitive skin. And so I look for other routes to lighten my dark spots, to stimulate collagen, to just rejuvenate my skin, which I believe is possible with using a really good vitamin C serum, you know, using growth factors. I use serums that stimulate the production of ATP in the cells, which is cellular energy. So right now I'm using this serum by Philosophy. It's called Dose of Wisdom. At first I thought it was a little bit bullshit because they say that they contain oxygen molecules. I was like, okay, there's oxygen in the atmosphere. Like, what? But then I asked, I was like, can I speak to your chemist? And they explained, it was like mind blowing when he explained it. So this is patent pending.
Okay.
They took plant cells, put them under ambient light to create photosynthesis, which creates the oxygen inside of the plant cells. They go in, extract those oxygen molecules, encapsulate it, put it in this stable serum, and they found in clinical studies that when applied topically, it stimulates the production of ATP. And when your skin has more ATP, the skin cells function better, your skin looks healthier, and you have that glow.
Wow. Okay. So what do you cleanse with? We haven't done cleanser.
Yeah. So I think for cleansers, it can be really basic.
Okay.
I like to use just any regular gentle cleanser. Right now I'm using Peach and Lily, which is a K-Beauty brand. I use their enzyme cleansing oil, and then they have just a very gentle gel cleanser. I'm not really picky about cleansers as long as it's gentle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about exfoliation?
Currently, I'm using the new SkinCeuticals Cell Cycle Catalyst exfoliant, which I'm obsessed with because I have incredibly sensitive skin. It has very low levels of 5 different types of acids. And so you can use it every day. You can even use it in the morning. And they formulate it so if you're using retinol, you can use it with retinol, or you can use it before you do in-office treatments to enhance your results. Like let's say you go get a chemical peel. You want to make sure that chemical peel touches evenly onto the skin. And so if you've used this to exfoliate the dead skin cells, it will evenly apply to the fresh skin and give you better results.
It's pretty amazing how advanced all of this is becoming. I feel like what a time to be alive. Like when we have all of this, we have all this like laser technology. I'm like, thank God for lasers, because I was a tanning bed daily person. That's like my one regret in life, I always say.
Did you ever do like the little Playboy bunny on the hip?
I did, like occasionally I would do the stickers, but I grew up on the East Coast in the early 2000s. It was cool to be as tan as humanly possible, and that was like pre-spray tans. They maybe had like the automatic booth that you would go into, like Ross and Friends, you know, and get that like orange moment. But we would like go tanning every day, and even during the summer we would like tan and then go to the beach. And SPF was not in my vocabulary until I got sober, so like late 20s. And you know, thank God for lasers. So far, it's like kept everything at bay, I think, for the most part. What lasers do you like, if any?
So I had really bad acne scars, boxcar, ice pick.
Wow.
And I got rid of it with like 10 sessions of Fraxel.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, your skin is incredible. I wanted to ask you, like, how did you heal that acne, and what was that like for you? Because I know that it's so much more than people think it is. I got acne a couple years ago, just randomly, cystic all over my cheeks, neck, behind my ears, like just out of nowhere. And I had a whole new empathy for people who deal with that. It's so frustrating, and it's so impactful on your self-esteem. Yeah. So what was that journey like for you?
So I was at the IMCAS Congress on dermatology, plastic surgery, and aging science in February in Paris. And I sat on this seminar on acne, and the panel was talking about how when someone gets acne, it really is a lifelong, I guess, disease or that they have to deal with for the rest of their life, on and off. And that really hit home for me, because I was thinking about it at so many different points in my life as, oh, I can figure out the solution and I can get rid of it. But it's just been a whack-a-mole situation, and different phases of my life, it'll come back. You know, I had it when I was in my early 20s, and then I got a handle on it, and then it came back, you know, my late 20s, and then I got a handle on it, and then I got pregnant and it came back. And so, you know, and recently it came back again, and I've been on spironolactone, which has been
miracle,
incredible. Are you on it too?
I've been off and on it. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. That was when I got acne, and I was doing all the things. And you know, it's so frustrating when people say, well, just do this. I'm like, I'm doing all the things. You know what I mean? Finally, I was like, give me the medication. And I mean, it cleared it up. And then I switched my skincare to what I use now. And then I slowly kind of went off it, and I was fine. And then like I started getting flare up, and I'm like, give me the spironolactone. Like, I don't even care if it's a Band-Aid.
Did you notice that it improved your hair at all?
No. Because I know that people say that, but
yeah, it's prescribed for female pattern hair loss. Yeah. So I noticed once I started taking it, my hair doubled in thickness. Really?
I did not have that benefit, sadly. Maybe I need to up my dosage a little bit. Yeah, your hair is amazing too.
Spironolactone.
Yeah. How long have you been on it?
3 months.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I noticed during the first month, when I blow dry my hair, typically it would just be a sea of hair on the ground that had fallen out. Now I blow dry my hair, there's like 2 or 3 strands on the ground.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you say to the people who are like, you're not treating the underlying cause? Because everyone's like, root cause. And I get that. And that's totally valid. But sometimes you need medication also.
I believe everyone has to do what's right for them. And acne can feel, at least from my experience, very debilitating. And, you know, when I got acne scars, I felt so self-conscious about it, and it really impaired me from being able to go out into the world and live life to the fullest. There were so many times I felt embarrassed about my acne, and I canceled on social plans, work events, and so it really has like lifted all of those barriers for me, and I feel like I can just go out and be my full self.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done for beauty?
Aside from air freighting the colostrum to my house.
I think that sounds totally rational, by the way.
I don't know. I guess everything doesn't seem crazy in my mind. I'm like, that seems normal. And I did that, and that was fine.
Anything that you think other people would be like, whoa. Is it the colostrum or the placenta?
I mean, I just do the usual stuff, like microinfusion sometimes before a big event, where they stamp in a little bit of a neuromodulator, hyaluronic acid filler, and vitamin C, because the Botox like paralyzes the sebaceous glands. So you get like that super tight glass skin look. I recently did Skin Vive. I guess not recently, 6 months ago.
Is that the salmon sperm?
No. So Skin Vive is
which is that one? You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, I know that one.
salmon sperm.
Wait, you don't know about that one? Oh my god.
Teach me, Ariel.
Okay, I learned about this one a couple years ago from my hair colorist, Liz. She wouldn't mind me talking about this. It's a big thing in Korea and some parts in Europe where they inject salmon sperm under under your skin, and it's for. I love how I was like, yeah, I know that one. And it's like for like glowy skin. I don't know. She went to Korea recently and she brought me back like masks, like sheet masks of like salmon sperm.
They really are.
I haven't done them yet.
They're decades ahead of us.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they call it salmon PDRN, but there's a name for it that's like skin that I thought was Skin Vive, but no. Anyway, we'll come back to it. Okay, so Skin Vive, what's that?
Skin Vive, yeah, also very popular in Asia right now. And it's a hyaluronic acid filler, but it's meant to be injected like 40 times in little spots all over and very superficially. And so it just keeps the skin looking really hydrated and plump.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's like little tiny micro droplets.
Interesting. So because it's superficial, it doesn't have the chance of like migrating and disrupting lymph and causing all of the issues that typical hyaluronic acid filler would cause. Is that the idea behind it?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I think part of it is just they want it to be in that superficial layer so that it makes that surface layer look kind of plump and hydrated.
Got it. Let's do some rapid fire. How many TikTok trends do you think are beneficial versus how many do you think are just kind of bullshit? Or do you just take what you like and leave the rest?
I think that.
Okay.
Yeah, because if someone came up with it, it must work for them. But that's the thing with these trends. They're not universal. They're not going to work for everybody. You have to just kind of pick and choose what feels right for you. Because there's a lot of stuff that won't be right for you.
Yeah. Okay. So like slugging.
Yeah, I love slugging.
You do?
I do.
Okay. With Vaseline or Aquaphor?
Yeah, Vaseline, Aquaphor. Either are good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Double cleansing?
For sure. Sometimes I do triple, quadruple cleansing.
Really?
Yeah, when I wear a lot of makeup, I notice that when I do it 4 times, I don't have breakouts. My skin just looks clear, and it's just getting out all those little tiny bits of makeup.
And are you oil cleansing first and then going in with like the enzyme cleanser?
Oil and then do some sort of gel or foaming cleanser. And then sometimes I'll just repeat that. I'll do the oil again, and then I'll do the foaming or the gel one more time.
What do you think of the glass skin trend?
I think that's a nice marketing term for skin that just looks dewy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heatless curls.
I love it.
Do you know how to do it?
This was created with heatless
Really?
curls. I haven't used heat on my hair in 2 months, and I don't think I'm going to go back.
Do you have a tutorial?
Soon. I do.
Okay, I'm gonna buy it and follow your tutorial, because that legit looks like a Dyson blowout.
Yeah, and
that's
it lasts
amazing.
Longer because it sets overnight.
Do you spray? Do you
No
do anything
products.
to set it? You just
The only thing I do is pomade, which I know you also love.
Yeah.
The Tancho stick, which I learned about that from you.
Did you?
And I was watching Succession the other night, but you know Kieran Culkin's character, Roman, he uses the Tancho stick.
He does?
In one of the episodes,
How
it
did I
shows
miss
him
that?
in his bathroom. I think I just pick up on all, I like noticed the products.
That's
and I saw
amazing
the
product placement for them.
I saw the Tancho in his bathroom, and I was like, okay, if Roman uses it,
Yes.
that's great.
Have you tried the cherry blossom?
No, I haven't.
So when I made that video a couple years ago that went viral, I said something about like the smell, and like all the comments were about how pungent it is.
It's strong.
So they saw it. They developed this new scent based on that. That's like a cherry blossom. It's very light and refreshing. It doesn't have the typical Tancho
Okay, I have
scent.
to try that.
Yeah, you have to try it.
But I use pomade for my curtain bangs because I just do a little bit at the ends here. It's the best hack ever because pomade, unlike gel, you can restyle and reshape it throughout the day because it's softer and it doesn't like set and harden. So if my curtain bangs fall during the day, I can just kind of go back and like shape them like this, and they'll take their shape again.
Yeah, I saw that you did a video on that. What do you think of like mob wife aesthetic versus clean girl aesthetic versus like soft girl era? All of these names.
We all have to just find our own aesthetic and just stick to that. But I understand. I mean, I remember being in my teens and I was trying to figure out my style. And so it was really fun for me to see in magazines all of these different aesthetics and experiment and pick what was right for me. So I totally understand why Gen Z Alpha, you know, gravitates towards these changing aesthetics.
Yeah. What do you think of like the young girls going to Sephora and getting like drunk elephant peels and everything?
I'm concerned for them because at that age, their skin is just flawless.
Yes.
It doesn't need anything.
I know.
Besides sunscreen.
I know.
And maybe a light moisturizer and cleanser, and that's it. So I just hope that they're not opening themselves up to doing more damage in the future.
What's one product you think everybody should know about and one product everyone should leave alone?
I would say one product would be the Allies of Skin Growth Factor Serum. One product everyone should leave alone. The dermatologists are going to come for me for this, but I will say tretinoin.
Oh.
And I
Tret has great PR.
It really does, but there's a lot of stories that don't get the same public attention of people really struggling with it, messing up their skin. It's not right for everyone. It's not popular in Asia at all.
Yeah.
In Korea, nobody uses retinol.
Interesting.
So it just has good PR here.
Yeah, it does have really good PR here.
Yeah.
I don't use it either. I mean, I tried and I was like, this is not for me. And so many people say that. And, you know, they really encourage you, obviously, to like push through that phase. And I was like, I have been pushing through and it's not benefiting me in any way. I use a trans retinol now. But amazing. Well, you have the best, most informative videos on beauty and everything out there on the internet. So tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, they can find me on TikTok at Bondenavant, Bondenavant, and at Amy Chang on Instagram.
Amazing.
Thanks for having me, Ariel.